Good morning, everybody. Really want to welcome all of you to our webinar this morning. I think this remains such an important topic in the SAP world. So really on behalf of PiLog, on behalf of SAP, I'd like to welcome everybody to our call this morning. And yeah, hopefully the 90 seconds that we saw in the video will really be able to make that real for you over the next couple of hours. Excuse me. So a couple of thoughts from my side. For those who don't know me, I'm Peter Bluffman. I lead the SAP Business Technology Platform team in Africa. There we go. And I'll be talking today with Dr. Imad Sayed from PiLog. I have the little piece, and then of course the expert takes over from me. But I did want to just express a couple of thoughts around why this is such an important topic for me personally. So the first thing is I started off in the world of data. I spent a long time doing data warehousing and analytics on top of SAP systems. And one of the things that I consistently learned in that time was that my customers who had a solution from PiLog had clean material masters that I could actually work with. And the customers who didn't, I had to invest an enormous amount of time in getting the reporting to work because simply the material master was very often a mess. And as my career progressed and I joined SAP, I started to realize that in fact, SAP's business is built around the ERP system, are very dependent on the quality of the master data that is put into that system in order to make it work. And many of the worst experiences that customers have had with SAP systems actually relate to things that actually come back to the master data. So it is an absolutely vital area. And I spent 4 or 5 years at SAP really being just responsible for this area. And SAP had the SAP Master Data Governance product available. And we struggled to make that product a tangible working solution particularly for materials for our customers. And as time passed and I came across PiLog, it dawned on me that the reason for that was in fact that we were missing inside our structure the key capability that PiLog brings, which is a way to manage the materials which is theoretically sound and that is actually practical rather than doing what MDG does, which is kind of allowing you to invent it all for yourself. So it's a topic that's been very close to my heart. I believe it is really, really important. And in the world where SAP are transitioning from on-premise over here to cloud over here, our intent is to try and take as many customers as possible with us on that cloud journey. And a couple of things immediately happen to us as we start on that cloud journey. Customers, for example, want to have line of business procurement, right? Ariba in the cloud. Ariba offers enormous advantages in the cloud, but it actually makes the master data management, master data governance more complicated than it was on premise. So if you don't have control over the master data in your material master, then going to the cloud can actually make things worse, right? From a data point of view. Clearly, from an application point of view, the software is fantastic, right? Like it or not, I mean, I can see enormous advantages in doing procurement in the cloud. But it does add new challenges for us. So I think that's one of the reasons why this session today is so important for us, is that it gives us a way to anchor a transition to the cloud with solid data, which is really, really important to deriving value. The other thing that's changed, and I had 10 minutes, right? So I used 3 to wait for everybody. But the other thing that's changed is the ability to deploy these solutions has become so much better in the cloud. So in the past, when customers spoke to us about a master data governance solution, there was a lot of work to be done on-premise on your actual ERP system to install and configure the system. And that actually was something that was quite technically challenging and took a long time. And it didn't necessarily add any value until the work was done. Today, everything we're talking about can be done in a cloud solution, and it can actually be done independent of an impact on your ERP system, if that's what you need. I think this makes such an enormous difference to the value of master data governance, and particularly then master data governance with PiLog's material master taxonomy on top of it, because it becomes something that's actually accessible to customers. So with those thoughts out of the way, I've pretty much managed to get done in my 10 minutes, which for those of you who know me is almost unheard of. And Emma, can I hand it off to you immediately?
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, thanks.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for setting the context. Welcome, everybody. Myself, Imad Syed. I represent PiLog, one of the board members of PiLog and also the architect of this entire product. So let's go through this entire journey of master data governance. Couple of things I would like to just set the context. Master data, it definitely needs its respect, like we all need our respect, but it has been ignored by several of the organizations. And when it is ignored, then you will lose the value of it. You won't be able to have the governance and control of it. It will not give you the insights and you won't be able to capitalize it. We need to treat master data as a valuable asset. And why this solution is important? Because master data is absolutely a very, very critical topic and critical data for any enterprise. And the problems that it creates are actually multifold within the organizations. That's why I'm quoting here, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. We cannot that master data to correct it. We need to elevate ourselves and look from a helicopter view. We need to look from a different perspective. So our conscious level need to come out. That's why SAP has brought in a specific product, specific platform, master data governance. So that's the intro. Now let me quickly, go through who we have here. We have Peter, as an expert who can answer any of the Q&A. Peter Stridham from PiLog, the co-CEO of PiLog, and why not CTO of PiLog is also available. And as we move forward, you would see a lot of things uncover. We discover certain things, we understand certain things. So we also would like to understand how did we do. That's a quick survey. And if you ever would like to reach out to us, that's our contact coordinates and that's the website. And if you have really liked this webinar, then if you would like us to repeat it or maybe share some of this information, please do contact us. An important thing is the Gartner's market guide for master data management. PiLog is mentioned there. SAP is mentioned there. Please download that and you would have a lot more insights. And generally these kind of reports are, charged by the Gartner, but we have now put it on our website so that you can download that. So what are we going to cover as part of it? Opening by Peter Blicknott, which is already done. And then we're going to go through the PiLog material master taxonomy solution, for SAP MDG, but we'll start on the data and then we will dive into the SAP MDG and why PiLog's material master taxonomy adds value to it. And then if time permits, we'll go through some of the demo videos and then Q&A. This slide, I'm sure, all of us will correlate ourselves with it, with this, whoever have started the journey prior to 2011. Everybody was talking about industry 3, wherein, the data was not really the core of the business. But the moment industry 4.0 came in, kicked in, everything was built around data. Prior to that, whatever the industries were there, those were very, very slow evolutions and they have evolved over time very slowly. But the evolution from industry 4.0 to 5.0 was really a massive change. Though there are organizations who are struggling to adapt industry 4.0, we are seeing that we have Industry 5.0 already eating the market with the robotic smart machines and human, companionship. So intelligent enterprises and all of that is hitting us hard, and we are not yet compliant with Industry 4.0. And the solution, what we are going to demonstrate and the presentation that we are going to do, that will give us a lot more on Industry 4.0 fundamentals of it. And then on left side that you see, some stats, because we will believe only in facts and stats, because as human beings, we need some supporting, some evidence, some association of the data so that we can provoke those thoughts. So if you look at the data, data is the search term that has, the highest search volumes over the last several years compared to system, processes, technology, cloud. Do we really invest so much into data, or do we just, look at the data challenges and leave it? And if you look at how much we invest into the data compared to the technology or to the systems, we invest so much there, but we don't invest into data, though the world is crying for the data solutions, and especially the master data solutions. So I'm sure this will give you a little bit of insight onto it. Now moving on, there are certain predictions which are just down the year, and it's not even uh, longer than a couple of years. And these predictions were coming from 2023. If you look at it, there are two predictions. You can read out that, but the second one that I just would like to highlight, that through 2025, 80% of organizations seeking to scale digital business will fail, not succeed, will fail. Why? Because they do not take a modern approach to data and analytics governance. Data and analytics is a growing field, and when we talk about data, master data is something that we can never ever ignore, because master data is the asset of the organization. Now, why do they fail? That's the question. They fail because of over ambitious objectives. Now, what is the over ambitiousness here? It's about, okay, let's just get this data cleaned by running some algorithms. That's a over ambitious thing. And the goal is to clean the data in no time and invest as little as we can and give importance as little as we can. And that's the over ambitiousness. And lack of right practices, that's another one. How many organizations that we are talking to, hundreds of organizations we have spoken last year, last before year, even this year, several organizations, they do not have a right practice of it. And right practice comes from right processes. Right processes come from right people, processes, and then practices are embedded into the systems and the solutions. That's what is missing. And bad legacy data is another one. And I'm sure each one of us have experienced this or heard these terms, but we do not tackle it just because nobody gives importance or the budgets to the data projects. Limited governed data. I mean, which is you govern certain data, but you don't govern the other data. I'll give you an example of it. There were some organizations where the payments were being done to the vendors, where even their annual maintenance contracts were terminated, but still payments were done, because it was never ever governed, which means that the updation of the vendor master data was not done periodically. That's why they were just doing the payment on regular basis, because it was part of the payment process. In the same way, because you have MRPs implemented in the SAP, a system was always, going through that MRP parameters and ordering the stuff. Whereas if you look at the consumption of it, the consumption was not really, being done, and it was never re-evaluated. And there are several use cases that I can state, hundreds of them, wherein, because of the chronic issues within the governed data, people do not have visibility of it. And then the other one is wrong stakeholders are the role players. We believe that we can bring in certain guys, certain fields, certain background, and make them the data custodians, data stewards, and that's absolutely wrong. If they do not understand what are the data standards that are available in the market, they won't be able to do it. And why I'm elaborating more on it, because it's a serious thing that 80% of the organizations will fail because they do not take the modern approach. What is the modern approach? Build the governance on the taxonomies, on the standardized data, build the governance around your right stakeholders, enable those people, empower those people, and then deduplicate it and move forward with the right governance practices embedded with ISO standards. And those are the right or the modern approaches to it. And then no or lack of unified standards. The topic today we are going to touch is also on the standards. There are universal standards for the master data, but seldom we know or seldom we try to understand that. And then there's one more stat that I'm going to throw here, and then after that we'll dive into the our webinar. Now the other stat, this is very, very important, and I would like to ask you as well, how does your organization assess, measure, or monitor the data and analytics governance? Into which category do you fall, or does your organization fall? Now if you look at 42% very clearly stated, we do not assess, we do not measure, we do not monitor any of the data and analytics governance. It's a red flag. I'm not sure how many of you, that those who are representing the organizations, would agree with this. Probably within your organization, you might be assessing it, measuring or monitoring it, or you might not be doing it. And if you are not doing it, then this is the time for us to wake up and look at it. So now moving on. So what is the trend in the market? Now we are going digital. What are you doing? No, we are busy digital transformation. What are you doing? No, we are transforming business digitally. And everything is digital. What are you going to do? No, we are going to build the dashboards that can give us business insights, business performance, business measures. Guys, if we do not build our foundation from the metadata and master data, analytics can never ever be derived. And this is the bottom line this slide is talking about. If we want the analytics to be built, then we need to have meta and master data established. What is metadata? Metadata is set of taxonomy, standards, libraries, glossaries, dictionaries, ontologies, repositories. All of that is the metadata. And if any of you do not have the metadata pertaining to the master data and trying to derive analytics, it will go nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So metadata is the foundation. That's where we have PiLog, bringing its metadata and merging it and embedding it within SAP's MDG solution. And that's what is making sense, because that's the foundation. And then we can govern the master data, be it materials, assets, employees, services, vendors, finance. Without having this thing established, we cannot generate digital dashboards, spend cubes, business performance, predictive, prescriptive analytics. We won't be able to assess and evaluate KPIs and SLS if we do not have the metadata. So metadata is important, and master data runs on metadata. And that's the bottom line. And if you do not have the right metadata combined with the master data, the transaction data would be junk, would be trash. Because if your transaction data is not capturing the purchase order number and the spare description and the value of it, from whom are we procuring, when is it, what's the currency, what's the lead time, all of that, then you won't be able to derive the analytics. That's just a single use case. That's why we are advocating, we are propagating that please build the foundation of your analytics on meta and master data. Moving on. Now, what is SAP master data governance? Let's just look at that. What is it? what are the different versions that are available at this point in time. SAP Master Data Governance on S/4HANA focuses on the governance of the master data, which is a centrally managed enterprise MDG, central data governance, and master data consolidation from various sources are, and then data quality management. These are the three things that are embedded within SAP Master Data Governance as the foundation. There are several other things. We'll talk about that, but these are the three fundamental things. And what are the products? There are different products that are, released by SAP on Master Data Governance. One is SAP Master Data Governance on SAP S/4HANA. The other one is SAP Master Data Governance Cloud Edition. And then SAP S/4 Cloud for Master Data Governance. There are different products. Whoever are using whatever product, irrespective of the product, this webinar is applicable to you. Now, what is the difference between? Because I would like us to understand the difference between the private cloud edition on-premise and versus what is public cloud. Public cloud is a BTP cloud, business technology platform cloud. And that is, that is where already couple of domains, which is the business partner, customer and supplier, are available, readily available. Rest of the domains are yet to be released, which means if you would like to go with material master, it's not available on public cloud. So what's the best option? Private cloud edition. If you would like to be hosted by either SAP or SAP partners, then we are one of those guys who can host it for you in private cloud edition. And if you have on-premise, this solution is directly applicable to you. I'm talking about the material. And what about the other domains? Financial, CAM, RFM, custom objects are also part of the on-premise edition. Now, data model, if you look at it, it's based on S/4HANA data model, okay, which is a broad attribute coverage, which means, extensive attribute coverage. But when it goes to public cloud, it's a core attributes only, so that you can do the localization of the MDG and do the replication of it. What are the key features in both of them? Consolidation is common, central governance is common, data quality management is common. There's something more that is coming. Master data integration is also coming to SAP public cloud. Then the replication, here it is the data replication framework. Like I said, master data integration is the other one that is included into public cloud. And from the deployment perspective, you can deploy this on-premise or private cloud, and here it is public cloud. Now, how should you start your journey? I believe that master data challenges have been persistent for over the years. And if you make a decision now, and if you would like to move forward with your journey in the master data governance solution suite, then this is the place that we recommend you to start. And whenever public cloud is available, you can move there, but at least establish your foundation, which is the material master, and then move it on as SAP releases the public cloud. Now, if you look at SAP Master Data Governance on SAP S/4HANA. So Enterprise Master Data, like I said, there are three things in that. One is the consolidation, the other one is central governance, the third one is the data quality management. And if you would like to consolidate from various systems, let us suppose that you are running multiple systems and you have the data residing in those multiple systems, or you are into a product information management and there are different systems of the PLM, product lifecycle management or product information management, you would like to onboard that, then consolidation is one of the greatest features of MDG that can be used. The other one is the central governance. If you would like to govern centrally, which means that you would like to have a centrally managed master data governance, then this is definitely the use case. And obviously, without data quality, governance does not exist. So governance is for the data quality management. That's why data quality is embedded in that. Once you have all of that, you would be able to generate reporting and analytics, and you would also be able to have the business networks when it comes to vendor master or business partner. Now, how does this master data governance look like? What it has? I mean, what is the data model? How is this integrated object model look like? It has financials, material, supplier and customer, enterprise asset management, retail fashion management. Today we are going to talk about materials only. Yes, if you are interested to talk, listen to the other stuff, please reach out to Peter Blicknott or one of us. Then we will also be able to provide you the demo on that. But core focus today is material. What is covered as part of the material? General data and descriptions, UOMs, all of this is covered. But what is it that PiLog is bringing? PiLog is bringing this block, which is the material master taxonomy with ISO 8000 standards. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about ISO 8000. ISO 8000 is a master data standard like ISO 9000, which is a quality assurance, quality standard for the manufacturing. ISO 8000 is for the master data standard. Information quality. If we talk about it, we need to have ISO 8000 as a standard. So you can see that as part of MDG, PiLog's material master taxonomy is already there, which means it is already approved by SAP Labs. It is embedded into the data model so that you can at any point in time utilize it. But the content of the material master taxonomy is coming from cloud. Now, let's just run through these statements. And if you look at these statements, problem statements, if you are suffering from unhealthy, obese material master. Now, if you look at now in the last 4 or 5 years, and especially during COVID, everybody started looking at their own health. Everybody wants to be lean and healthy. When we think about ourselves to be lean and healthy for a better living, better healthy life, why can't we think about also lean and healthy master data? We need to think about it. And if we have a lot of obesity in the material master, which is deduplication, wrong information, conflicting information, toxic information, incomplete information, underrated information, and any trash, then let us clean it. Like we have been focusing on our health, let us also focus on the master data of our organization, because that is also an asset for us. And facing difficulty in searching and identifying material master records, one of the greatest things that SAP S4 HANA has brought in is the searchability. But for that, you need to have the right information. For that, you need to have the right taxonomy, and that's what this solution is bringing. Looking for MRO material master taxonomy, we have the MRO material master taxonomy addressing any of the MRO material, and it is also extending into service master and asset master. But since the topic is material master and MRO, that's why I'm going to keep my focus only onto that. And if you want a trusted solution, which is being certified by by SAP, here is the solution. And then who doesn't have the free text spend issues? Many of the organization, I say 8 out of 10 organization who do not have the master data governance or data quality management, they have free text problems. They spend using the free text. They just type in something and then release the purchase orders, or they do the purchasing based on just free text. Somebody is writing in some other way, others are writing. But with this solution, you are going to generate everything out of the solution only. Looking for comprehensive multilingual, by the way, this is a multilingual solution, which means that if you would like to have the descriptions, in non-English languages, we will be able to configure that. And any ambiguity or whatsoever, once you implement this solution, that ambiguity will go for a toss. You will not have the redundancy and ambiguous material records. And then the other greatest thing that we are bringing to the table is that leverage from industry standardized pre-catalog data. There are over 10 million unique material master records that we have created in our repository and that have been maintained so that we do not lose the relevance of it, the quality of it, and the accuracy of it. That's available on our cloud. You will have access to 10 million plus material master records. How does that make sense? Now, whenever you are now searching for a valve or a gasket, with a part number or a specification or a model number. You can search in that and immediately leverage whatever is there, and you would have nice descriptions. You do not have to go and fulfill all the mandatory requirements of creating that master data record, because the records that are pre-catalog are already been standardized. So if you are looking at right material, at right time, at right place, with the right price, with absolutely right quality, this is the solution. This is the solution. And what are the envisaged benefits? If we look into materials management, is a vast field, and it is actually connected with all the other modules. Believe me, if you do not have you know material master or service master as part of your ERP or SAP, then you do nothing. You don't do any business. Even if you are buying products or selling products, buying services or selling services, you need to have these two core modules. Without this, ERPs does not exist. Because tell me any company that does not have either of them. You won't find any company, because they are either buying products or selling products, or buying services or selling services. Apart from these four, there's nothing else in the business. So the entire business is around only these two modules. So envisage benefits: absolutely improved inventory visibility. You would have inventory visibility because the deduplication will be resolved and the data is going to be merged, which means that the items are also going to be merged. Time, cost reduction, and potential savings, because you'll also be able to look at which of them are non-moving or slow movers, whichever are the high range items and which are the capital items. You'll be able to classify that. You'll be able to bring in the inventory classification using this, and support maintenance and operations, because during shutdown, it is a havoc. It is chaos during shutdowns. And we see that now. Let's just place this order. Oh, sorry, this item does not exist. Oh, we have a wrong item ordered, and all of these things. If you do not want to get into that, and if you want to improve your range time, then this is the solution. Standardized short and long descriptions. We all know that SAP has got 40 character optimized limitation for short description. And long description can be anything. But if you start typing in, you would have inconsistencies. You won't be able to use the industry standard abbreviations as part of it. So system is actually generating the short descriptions and long descriptions. Then zero downtime during maintenance, like I already said. And then supplier to material and product category linkage using the UNSPSC. We are also bringing in the UNSPSC taxonomy as well, apart from the material master taxonomy, which is the PiLog's Q-rated taxonomy specifically aimed at MRO. We are also bringing in UNSPSC mapping, which means that you would be able to do the spend analytics. You'll be able to map the suppliers based on that. Let me just give an example of it. Let us suppose that you are looking for maintaining a valve or doing the maintenance of a valve for 10-inch. But now, since you do not have that material to vendor linkage, you would, or the SAP system would send out RFPs based on certain category. But if we have the categorization based on even the specifications of it, that okay, only these vendors or these service providers can do the maintenance of the valves more than 10 each, then your time has reduced, your accuracy has improved there. And then extended partnership, that's the other one, domestic versus import, you'll be able to differentiate. Now, why material master is such a complex and what do I say, a challenging subject? Because spare parts life cycle management is not easy. It's a mammoth task, because the life cycle of the spare actually gives you healthy assets or maintainable assets. Our asset integrity and reliability is improved based on the spares. Now, how does it start? I'm sure all of you might be aware of it, but let me just recalibrate that. Equipment design and spare parts data package, that is where it starts. Whenever there is an equipment that is getting designed, the spare parts data package is built. And then the equipment gets commissioned, and then whatever the spares that have been supplied by the EPCs that get stored, and then optimization of the SPIRs. SPIR is the spare parts interchangeability records. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. And this is how, during the build phase, this is how the data is supplied by the EPCs. And optimization of the parts planning, analytics, and storage, all of these things until it is disposed. Until it is disposed. It's a long lifeline. And for every equipment, at least there is a lifetime of 20 years for each equipment. That's the minimum, So which means that you will have to maintain that equipment or asset throughout the 20 years. That means you need to have the right spares available with the right quality, with the right price. And if you don't plan for that, it will have direct impact on the maintenance. And that's the reason spare parts lifecycle management is absolutely a core function. Now, why do we bring in standards? We bring in standards such as, like I mentioned, ISO 8000, which is the master data quality or information quality. If we bring that particular standard, then we know that what is the form, fit, and function. What are the data requirements for that? From where that spare part is being, procured? Who is the originator of that record? And how accurate it is, how complete it is, which of the mandatory values that have been populated, all that is driven from ISO 8000 perspective. And there are other ones, UNSPSC, IEC, HSN, ISEC, DNB, and then there are a lot of other classification or the codification standards that are also merged with this one. And then ISO 14224, which is for asset and location, hierarchy management or asset integrity, if you look at it, and that's how it is being installed in the plant, and we need to do the management of it. And then ISO 45000 series, which is the occupation health and safety, because in oil and gas, in petrochemical, health safety, HSE is playing a vital role. And we have heard and seen many a times that since the parts were not disposed properly or the parts were not packaged properly, because of that, hefty fines have been put on by the regulators on the enterprises. And then the other series, which is the asset management. And if you want to manage the asset, then you go to the spares of it. Now, let me also give you some examples of, how people do it, how, the practices are, the old practices are, and what is the modern approach for that. Now, if you look at template comparison for a seal, we say that it's a seal. Why do we have to qualify whether it is labyrinth or whether it is mechanical seal? We have to qualify that. We have to identify the right class, which is object and qualifier, or noun and modifier. If you don't do that, those are two different items if you look at it. And both of them have got two different templates. And if you are qualifying it as a seal, it will have a generic template. You won't be able to order a specific item. You won't be able to, understand the form, fit, and function of it. You won't be able to qualify where does this fit in. So that's the reason you need to have it. And not only that, if you look at the UNSPSC, the classification of it, one goes under metallic lathe seal, the other one goes into mechanical seal. Even the codes are different. Your spend analytics will go for a task if you just use a generic word seal, but not use the taxonomy for that. Taxonomy brings in the granularity. Taxonomy gives you better insights. You can deep dive into it, and you would be able to look at the data based on what are the values that are captured for that. And if you look at, it's not just, one seal labyrinth. You also have radial type. You also have thrust type. You also have ring type. Here in seal mechanical, you have, double, split, rotating, stationary, different types of it. And if you do not capture this, you will not know that, who is supplying what quality of material. If you would like to do the performance of that vendor, if you would like to see the quality of that material, particular material. So we need to have a different classes and different templates used for that. And who is providing that? PiLog is bringing that to the table, and it is embedded in the solution. There's another example, and then we'll jump over that. Let me take another example of elbow. One is elbow pipe, the other one is elbow tube. We cannot say that both are same because form, fit, and functions are different, and also the UNSPSC classifications are also different there. So that's why we will not be able to, say that it's the same. And that's the reason PiLog is bringing all this into SAP Master Data Governance. Let's quickly go through SAP Master Data Governance for Material Master. What does it support? Let's look at that. One of the core objectives of master data governance for material master is standardize it once and use it for everybody. Standardize the process or standardize the user interface or standardize the set of business logic for similar materials. So which means reusability. Every time you are trying to use a material, there is a persona, there is a personalization that is being created for that. And based on that, the materials go through the business logic. Now, so what are the MDG governance capabilities? Low TCO, flexibility, ease of consumption, best practices, process transparency, and integration. And integration is out of the box integration, which means MDG will talk to the SAP S/4HANA, with the replication framework. And then the other thing is that many a times we hear that, yeah, we do not have a workflow, or we have a workflow, but it is distributed workflow. Yes, you will be able to configure a distributed workflow within SAP MDG. You can have either linear or a distributed workflow. And then can I extend this process? Yes, you will be able to extend the processes based on specific business functions, such as we say that now, whenever you want to reinstate a deleted material, it must go through certain checks. Yes. And if it has got HSE requirements, it must go through HSE process. Yes, if it has got safety and security requirements, it must go through that workflow. So you can actually extend those processes as well. And then there are specific roles and responsibilities, which means that who can create, who can change, who can approve, who can edit, who can replicate. All these things are mapped with it. Okay. And then this one, let me just. So where are we bringing our taxonomy? If you look at SAP Master Data Governance, it has maintain, validate, approve, replicate. These steps are there. PiLog is bringing taxonomy in the case of validating. PiLog is bringing taxonomy when we are doing the maintenance of it, when you are doing the approval of it. And all of these things are actually embedded within each other. And that is how you would see that. A replication, like I said, you can do different types of replication, and DRF framework is capable enough of doing a lot of replications, and there are features that are supported out of the box by SAP MDG for the replication based upon whatever the landscape you have. And then, like I said, reuse standard content, enhance functionality, extend data structures. All of this is there. Now, what is it that PiLog bringing? PiLog is bringing, first of all, ISO standards. Why do we need ISO standard? Like I said, interoperability is vital for us, which means that in near future, in fact, some of the organizations are already processing it, that we have a robotic process automation, which is the RPA, is already there for procure to pay process, which means that, when should you order an item? When you are ordering an item, the data is sent to the vendor in a format that can be received by the system. So it's the systems that are exchanging and talking to each other. It is the systems that are integrating the data. And if we do not have the right taxonomy on either side or both sides, you won't be able to do that. So what are we bringing? We are bringing the standard, we are bringing the taxonomy, we are bringing the ISO compliant master data within that. And there are a lot of standards that we have embedded into it. Now, how do we embed this process as part of SAP MDG? Generally, we start everything from search. So if you do not search, you don't create. Because we made the search in such a way that you have to search first. and you will find the item that you are looking at. And why do people create the items? Because they don't find it and they directly go to the create option. So we are saying that we will not create unless you search for it. So everything starts from the search. You can search based on characteristics and properties. And how can you search that? You can search that by, because we have the taxonomy embedded. You can search on short and long description. You can search on reference data. And many times, many organizations are facing terrible challenges with regards to managing their reference data, and they use Hearst material type. You don't have to use Hearst material type. Our solution addresses one to many reference data mapping, so you can actually store as many as reference data that you can. Earlier it was only one reference data, one part number, one manufacturer, but you can actually have one to many. And then it goes through a material template which has got class and characteristics, and then auto populate certain things that we have already mapped it. Auto general description, one to many references, multilingual, and then we also brought in ISPR, because for the capital projects or for the expansion projects, for the replacement of equipment project, you need to have even this functionality. And then duplicates identification, based on different things such as manufacturer, model, drawing number. You can configure it yourself. We even do not have to come in there. And characteristics and properties as well, duplicate identification, which means that if you have the valves of the same sizes with the same material and some of the other matching, then immediately you can say that these are the duplicates. So the deduplication is not only at a part number or model number level, it is at a characteristic level. And transfer to SAP and workflow control, quality control, and again a big thing is the PiLog repository with 10 million plus records. Now, the solution features, again graphically explained, it's exactly the same thing. How do you set up your solution? You set up your solution by looking at what are the classes and characteristics that are required, and everything you can do it on your own. There is no backend upload. There is no need to build any upload programs. Everything comes with it. There is UI. You download it from PiLog Cloud. It's connected. You even don't know that it is connected. That is how we have embedded all the APIs into it. You search for bearings, all the bearing templates. You import all the bearing templates and upload it into the classification system. So you set up your classification and then you move forward with that. If you would like to change the template, you can change the template as well. And then deduplication, like I said, it is based on different things. You can configure deduplication based on manufacturer part number or OEM number, OCM number, model number, drawing number, or any other reference data that is part of the solution. Not only that, you can also say that only match mandatory to mandatory, or mandatory as well as optional match, or only specific attributes you match it. All those things can also be configured. Now, what are the different features? Like I said, if you have PiLog repository, search is embedded, which has got over 10 million records. You can search the repository based on reference number. You can search the repository based on the reference type, class, vendor name. Even you can go and say that who is the vendor that is actually supplying this. And everything is ISO specific. And you might ask, how do you assure that the data that is in the repository is accurate? Because we keep the provenance, which means that the source URL from where we have acquired that information, source information. Yes, certain URLs we are not disclosing because of our NDAs with them, non-confidentiality or confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements there. But majority of the items have got the source URL. So you can validate it yourself that, okay, this is something that we have actually got it from the other reference, and you can take that reference and cross check as well. And it has got the confidence level, quality level, as well as the short text and long text. It has got all of that, and it is on PiLog Cloud. And every time we are talking about it, there's some additions are happening. So can we have it on premise? We cannot have it on premise because the material records, whenever M&As are happening, we have to merge certain records. We have to update certain records. Whenever there are new assets that have been released and new bombs are released, new spares are released, we'll have to go and update that. which means that you cannot have it on premise. It has to be as a single repository. And obviously in near future, even this repository, you can consume it from SAP API Hub. If you go to SAP API Hub, and you can also subscribe. We are busy building these APIs as part of SAP API Hub. Then there are again additional features. Certain of these slides will be shared with you, and the best place to learn more about this is go to SAP Store, store.sap.com. Search for PiLog. You will find the solution. You have got the videos. You have got all the collateral related to this solution there. Just one thing I want to mention. When you are generating the PO text, either you can generate it in a tabular form or paragraph form. Why? Because you know that the PO text is a box and nobody wants to scroll it. That's why even you can set up that generator to have it in a tabular format, so that you see it in a tabular format or a paragraph format. Even in a paragraph format, you can say that when to split, when to go to the new line, all of that. So we have taken care of it. How we could do that? Because of our 27 plus years of core experience in materials management. Then ISPIR feature is also part of it. What is it? It's an electronic spare parts interchangeability record. If you have the SPIR, ISPIR is a PiLog's solution. SPIR is a generic word, industry practice for referring it to spare parts interchangeability record. And what it has? It will always have a matrix of equipments to the spare parts, the linkage of that. If you have those SPIRs that you have received from the EPCs, you can even import that and then onboard all those materials and do the deduplication and extract the data, validate the data, generate the descriptions, and then push it into SAP. So even that mass upload, not only a flat file, but also the ISPIR format is also there. And there are certain things that we are also proposing in the next release to cover services, service master records governance as part of the same solution, which means that if you go and choose material type serve, you would see the services template, services taxonomy. If you go and look at the different material types, other material types, which is IRSA, capital, spare parts, raw materials, ROH, UNBW, all of that, you would be able to see the material master taxonomy. So you see, how we are setting up the classification. We are setting up the classification based upon the different material type. And again, value proposition. What is the value proposition? First thing is that you would be able to refer yourself. In fact, your organization, your data will be 100% ISO compliant. 100%. And many of our customers have obtained that, compliance certificates. Because if your data is 100% compliant, then you would be able to build the integration with any of the other systems. And just for an example, we are now building using the same taxonomy. We are building the product master or the material master for the entire of Saudi Arabia. Millions of records. What are they going to use? They are going to use this class and characteristics. What does it have? It has materials, MRO materials, raw materials, F&B materials. It has products. It has semi-finished. It has a lot of other stuff. So you can understand, if a nation can build their material or the product master based on this taxonomy, why can't organizations build the foundation using this? And we say that absolute 8 to 10% savings. If you implement this and do the data harmonization project along with us, you would have 8 to 10% of savings in terms of the value. I'm not talking about intangible. I'm talking about tangible value. And then, improved material master descriptions. Why did we say 50%? Because you might not have the right reference data. So you need to communicate with the vendors and get the data. And even that feature is also available. You can actually push it out to the vendors, and vendors will be able to see the records and they will be able to edit and send it back as well. So even that feature, we can even extend one of the role to the vendors as well, so that they can log in, they can pull in the data, they can update it as well. And that's also fantastic thing here. And then searchability, absolute searchability. Believe me, the searchability is the best here. And we can bet with any other system when it comes to the searchability of it. And then 100% improved deduplication processes. At every checkpoint, there is a deduplication process. And what is the value it is bringing to humanity? It's saving time, because time is money. Today, all of you are giving time to us, to SAP and PiLog, because we know that you would like to get a return on investment on this time. And the biggest asset of the organization is data. And if you invest this time in data, which you are doing rightly so now, and go back and implement the solutions, you are going to save thousands of the man hours. You are going to improve the efficiency. You are going to save even monetarily as well. And social value is as well, when you are communicating with vendors, there's no embarrassment, there is no misuse of the data. It's the right interpretation, right identification, right delivery, no return, which means that if you are returning items, one of the studies say that because the vendors have to go and pick the wrong items delivered, they were investing about 3 to 4% of their revenue in the logistics additionally. So that's also a social value, because it is contributing to carbon footprint as well. Then what are the other systems that you can connect with? You can connect with SAP MDG add-on. You can connect SAP EAM if you have it, EDW if you have it, SAP Ariba, because again, materials and vendor mapping goes there, and obviously S/4HANA. So you would be able to connect even other systems. In case you have any other systems in your landscape that have relevance with materials, talk to us. We will tell you, how you can integrate it. Now, how does this whole thing start? It's a CR. What is CR? Change request. See, it says change request. It's not saying create. Create is also a change request. You are requesting for change. What is the change? Change is to add this record. Then the other change is to edit the record. Other change is to extend the record. Other one is to delete and then undelete. When it comes to material master, it's a change request. You are requesting a change. So which means already there is governance. You are requesting for it. So requesters can request that, and approver will review it. And then steward, which is a centralized steward, steward will look at it using all the tools that are embedded in it. And then it goes to the SAP MDG manager. Manager will be able to replicate with a click of a button. You don't have to export and import it. Let me just give you as well. There are certain organizations, big names, I cannot reveal the names, big names with mammoth revenue. They take between 18 and 21 days to create one material. So from the request until it gets replicated into SAP, is it process efficiency or deficiency? You judge it. And wherever we have implemented it, all the urgent requests were created in less than a day. And normal requests have never ever exceeded 3 days of SLA. And with highest quality. Again, it's not that you request for, I want bearing ball, that's it. No. Bearing ball, immediately it will ask, what is the template? Okay, this is the template. Please capture all the mandatories. Then only we'll be able to create the bearing balls for that. So the approver would have a different checklist. Even with all these governance rules and that, it's swift. Why it is swift? Because the notifications. Something is requested, a notification. Notification is embedded with the SLA. So within an hour, you need to address that. So all those things are configurable as part of SAP MDG. Believe me, if you would like to have a smooth streamline of spare parts management or materials management, there is no other solution better than this solution and this approach. Now, how does it look? You start from a search. If the record is found, use it. If the record is found, but it does not have enough information, okay, go for a change request to change it, edit it. Now, if the record is found, but it is in somebody else's plan, okay, extend it to your own plan and use it. So if the record is not found, then you see the cloud icon, which means that it's searching. You can search it from the cloud and also create it. You have a model number of a valve, or you have a part number of a bearing, you have any reference number of a motor, you would be able to actually create that from the cloud. And the moment you are creating it, it will also ask you to populate the characteristics. Either you can click the drop down and get the properties list or the characteristic list from the cloud, or you can type in. Either one is allowed, but typing is not the right thing, because standardization will be lost if you are typing, unless you are typing in the same standardized way. And populate part number, reference, and document and ERP. Description generations get automated. You see, this is the automated. There's already a process to generate it. Whether you are creating 10 items or 100 items in a day, all the descriptions would have the same algorithm based on the commodity. If it is a part number driven, model number driven, then that's given preference. If it is characteristic values driven, then that is given the preference. So it will have a name, it will have the reference data, it will have the characteristic data, and then it goes to a review process. And there are some silent checks as well that have been embedded in. Even if you are not doing as a user, system is enforcing to go through the checklist, and it prompts you saying that, okay, sorry, this is missing, or that is missing, or this is not proper, or that is not mapped. Then you would be able to correct it. And the moment you are submitting it, it will not allow you to submit unless it by default checks for the duplicate. You see how we are bringing in governance. Deduplication is the core feature here, and duplication is happening based on both reference data as well as based on the characteristic data. So then even the approver, if approver finds that no, this is not the right item, and already he found another item that is deduplicate, you can delete it. Or if approver finds that the quality is not adequate, not enough, then you can return it. So you see, that is how. And you can see the small icon of the email here. Notifications are triggered on every submission, so that you can see, track where exactly this whole thing is. Sorry. And then at the end, you can replicate it to SAP ERP. When I say ERP, it could be S/4HANA on cloud, it could be S/4HANA on premise, or it could be private cloud edition. Now, what is the architecture? This is how the SAP S/4HANA is there, and then SAP MDG sits on top of it. Or if it is not the core deployment, if it is a hub deployment, SAP MDG sits in another place, and you do all the data and then replicate it there. So what is PiLog add-on package? PiLog add-on package sits on top of it with custom workflows, custom user interfaces, custom programs, tables, schema, processes, and the ontology. And everything is on demand. You can search for this on demand. It's not that, oh, sorry, there's no connection, because it is embedded in this. Okay, this is another, integration architecture. You have SAP, master data governance. You could have other things, and you could also build the SAP Fiori stuff as well if you would like to build it. There are already out of the box several UIs that are available, but if there is any custom UI, anything that is specific to your business, we can also guide and help you in that. And obviously you can replicate that with any of the systems wherever there is relevance. Then this is the references. The references are PiLog Material Master Taxonomy for SAP Master Data Governance. This is one reference, that you can look at. Once we share this deck, you would be able to see, the reference where it is. And if you would like to validate whether it is certified or not, that's where it is. Our SAP Store, our App Center, that's where it is, and partner profile of it. Now, going to the next one. The biggest question that are the frequent question that we have been asked, and the biggest challenge for the stakeholders is that how do we build a business case? Because our organization feels that this use case is not applicable to us. This solution is not applicable to us. How do we do that? We can help you with that. We have helped several organizations in the past, and we are busy helping several organizations create business cases. First, we would like to understand what are your challenges. Do you have challenge in terms of asset reliability and integrity? Do you have challenge in that? If you have challenge in asset reliability and integrity, then absolutely this is the solution. We'll be able to build, the business case from that perspective. If you are having huge inventory and you would like to, offload some of the inventory, then we will build the use case, business case based on that. And if you are facing issues with the logistic management, or if you do not have the spend visibility, and if you have problem with the data management, governance, consolidation of it, if these are the challenges, then there are opportunities based upon that. We PiLog, as specialized in the master data solutions, or data governance solutions, or data quality solutions, will be able to help build the business case. We'll be able to articulate it, and once you present it, immediately, whoever is the decision maker or the board or C level, they would be able to see, okay, what value it can bring in. So there is also a research that is published by Gartner. How do you build a use case or return on investment use case for material master or master data governance or spare parts or product master? There are certain researches. If you are looking for that, we will also be able to share that upon request. But if we do not articulate it into a business case, no C level is going to approve it. And we have seen that data projects are given the least importance, least. And if you look from the perspective of value addition, it's the data that is transforming the organizations. So what can we do? The approach is that we can build a business case with strategic roadmap. It's not just, okay, let's just implement it. No. What can come after 6 months? What is post go live of it? What is it after an year or two? What is it in 3 to 5 years? That's the long-term strategic roadmap as well we'll be able to build. And then the other best thing is that, and generally, how do we diagnose ourselves? We go to the doctor and we take the prescription and we go to a diagnostic center. We get, hundreds of tests done or few tests done. The report comes in and the report tells that, yeah, we have less hemoglobin, or we have this fatty acid, or that thing, or this thing, and all those. So PiLog is data doctors. We have been practicing this eating, sleeping data throughout our life for the last 27 years. And if you look at the combined experience of PiLog, it's thousands of years of experience, because we have hundreds of people with, 15, 20 years of experience sitting with us. So give us your data, your material master data as is. We will discover it. We will initiate a discovery and data and processes maturity assessment, health assessment. We'll do the diagnosis of that. Process diagnostic will do it. Data diagnostics will do it. We'll give you a report. Obviously, if it is small amount of data, we might do it for free as a courtesy. But if it is large volume of data, you have to, pay for that. It is a paid service. And by the way, even if you go to a doctor, we don't ask doctor, can you just give me, right roadmap for my health for free? Doctor will never give you. He will only give you 2 vitamin, or maybe, a vitamin tablet. That's it. But if you want thorough, you have to go through the test, which means it's an effort. We'll put in our professionalism in that. We'll put in all the benchmarks, world-class benchmarks in that, and combine that with the ISO standards, and then we'll give you a diagnostic report. And that report, you can present that report. We will present it, or you can also internally present it. Data health assessment report is one, and then the data maturity assessment is also. One is health assessment. How is it? Maturity, how well this data can be used in other processes. That's what is the maturity. Not only data, but also the process, because if we are bringing in a governance solution, we also need to look at the processes. How is the process? Who are the guys who are contributing to the master data creation? Who are the guys who are actually, making this material master obese? Who are the guys who are making this material master toxic? Who are the guys who are improving it? So we need to understand how are those processes, how they are embedded into it. And then as is versus to be process based on industry benchmarking is what we do. And then we can also introduce RPA, and we have introduced RPA in several things, such as automated QC checks is an RPA, because every day you cannot train somebody, how to do it. And with now Gen AI, with now, lot of other technologies that are evolving, we have done it. We have our own AI lens, which is something which is a co-pilot for master data governance that can also help you, automate certain processes. And then showcase earned value management, estimate the potential ROI and overall improvement. So if you have any challenge, if you have any challenges around this, we will convert or transform those challenges into opportunities with this approach. And then we'll come back, say that whether you need a product or a service or both, and how that product, which is a master data governance solution, and consulting services and some subscriptions to our cloud or our hub, how you can improve your enterprise business processes. Because once you are improving the process here, ultimately it will improve the other processes, such as in case of material master. If you are improving the material master quality of it and the processes and governance into it, then plan to inventory process absolutely will have impact on it. It will see the improvement. Source to pay, it will have that. Acquired to retire, for the EAM, that would also have it. And you would be able to present it using the infographics or dashboards. We also have an analytics tools that sits on top of anything. It could sit on top of SAP MDG, it could sit on top of S4 HANA, or we can use SAP. If you have already SAP Analytics licensed, we can use even that as well to showcase. But it's all about, correcting the foundation. It is all about, addressing the challenges at a meta and master data level. Any questions so far? I'm going to take a couple of minutes of break so that I can bring the videos here. Haven't seen the Q&A here, so.
I haven't seen anything in the Q&A.
Okay. So either the session is going on very well or nobody understands it.
I think at least nobody's left, right? So pretty much everybody's still here. So I'm hoping that that they are following.
Okay, excellent. And I encourage that you ask questions. If you have questions, please ask them, because we have allocated 15 minutes at the end of it, which will be after 15 minutes. So that you can, type in all of that. Or if you would like to raise hands during that session, you are welcome to raise it, and then you can ask the questions.
Don't see anybody typing, but perhaps just to note to everybody that they can't type in the chat. You have to use the Q&A feature. Not quite sure why we did it that way, but now we have, so we can't change it.
Yeah. Sorry, we have to use the Q&A feature. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Hope you can see the screen. The video is getting played, Elisma?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, excellent. So now if you look at it, this is the free text. Now, how does the free text work? You would see that now. Generally, if you are a maintenance person or if you are a procurement guy, you don't start with val, ball, which is a taxonomy driven thing. You say that, I would like to know what are the 4-inch valves, So you type in that 4-inch, and then you can see all the 4-inch valves are displayed there. All of them are displayed. All of them have got 4-inch. Now you can refine the search and you can add valve ball. Now, if you look at it, all the valve balls 4-inch. You see, it's irrespective of how you are typing. It's not a sequential search. It's a fuzzy free text search. Or you can add even the other, which is the material manufacturer part number as well. You can add as part of that. And I don't think that anybody might have configured this based on the manufacturer part number, based on all the values. Not only that, even you can take whatever is part of short text or long text or any of the configured fields. So search is made in such a way that you can search based on free way, and then based on reference, you can also do that. Now, let me just go back here. See, that's the reference number. Based on that reference number as well, you can search. Search with classification. This is very important because we are bringing in the taxonomy. When we bring the taxonomy into it, you would be able to search it based on the classification as well. Now, when we say classification, it's a class 001. That's for the materials. And then you can choose the class value there. And that's the breaker circuit that you can search for. And then all the breaker circuit comes in. Now you will see other beauty. You can add the classification there and search based on that. So which means that you can search based on the class and characteristics. And this is possible only because we are using the taxonomy and industry standards there. So all of that is based on. Now, if you want to create it, you can create from there. After searching for it, you would see that it's pre-populated, whatever you are searching for, and material creation demo and unit of measure and industry sector that you get populated. In fact, we can auto-populate as well. And these are the values that are coming from the cloud. You can choose the values from the cloud. You see, these are the values that are coming from the cloud. So you don't even have to remember what are the values. These are the values that are coming directly from the cloud. And that's the one that I said that how you can have the descriptions. Check out for the description. You can have the descriptions like this. You can have the descriptions in other format, paragraph format as well. And if you include reference data, you would be able to include the reference data. And if you want multiple references, you can have it. But as you are adding it, it's getting added to the description, short as well as long description. And now this is one to many. You can have as many references as you want. Check out, how many drop downs are there. Now reference type, you would see you can add all these reference types. Additional part number, you can add CAS number, which is for the chemicals. You can add drawing number, position number, equipment model number, equipment tag number, manufacturer part number, model number. You can add all these reference types. And the beauty is that you can search based on this. Whatever you enter, whatever you maintain, you can search based on that. That is how this add-on is configured as part of SAP MDG, which means earlier you used to have only one as part of the purchasing tab. Only thing was the part number, manufacturing part number, and manufacturer name, or you used to call it as MPN profile. But now you can add as many reference data as you can. And you can search on it, you can make it part of POD. And this POD indicator tells you that it is purchase order description. Include this one in purchase order description. SFD stands for short format description, whether to include this in short description or not. So all these are configurable stuff. You will see that it's already included. And if you want inspection text or anything, you can add as part of the free text as well. And when you click on that check, it triggers. It goes through several checks, but in this case, it has checked and it says that material 371. Why $sign? Because it is still in a request mode. As long as it is in a change request mode, it's not approved. You will see the $sign. Wherever you don't see the dollar, it's actually the real material number. Here we are not using the ranges. That's why you have, even 3-digit material numbers here. So what it is doing, it is checking based on the class as well as the characteristics and the part number. Part number was same. It's saying that this record that you are requesting, your change request is duplicate with the existing one. And immediately you can stop that or resolve the duplicate. So you see it is also based on the class and characteristics. Not only one item, it is matching with all the other items based on the class and characteristics. And that's the beauty of it. Now we have replicated it. Let us go and see how it is replicated to the SAP system. You see there, all the data is replicated. All the data is replicated. Stop here. That's the short description that's replicated. You see, it is using the standard abbreviations there and only characteristic values. And classification, all the classification data replicated, which means you can even generate analytics out of your SAP. Additional data, part number, that's there. You can see it. And now let me go to the reference data. See, we also extended the UI as well as the data model to accommodate multiple references. So if you had a query, where does this multiple references go and stay? It's an extended model. SAP has allowed us to do that. We have extended the data model as well as the UI to accommodate the same thing. There. Purchase order text is replicated. And that's how you do the search as well as create the items. I see some Q&A there.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So which means that this interaction is going on well. So people are listening in. I was for a moment thought that nobody is listening in.
Imad, can you see the Q&As?
Yeah, I can see the Q&A. We will come to that immediately after this. Let me just show you another one. Here is the other one. Let me just show this one. Now, how do we set up the MDG add-on within SAP MDG? That's what. So you see here, this is the menu that is created with the PiLog add-on. It's a PiLog taxonomy management. You can download the taxonomy. That's the repository search. You can go and search, create, change, mark for delete, and all of these things are there. So you can personalize this menu. You can map it with the user profile. And if the user is having multiple languages, all those multiple languages will also get, configured here. I see what we are doing. We are looking at the taxonomy. We are searching for that. Before setting up, your data, you need to download the taxonomy. How do we download it? We go and we say that, okay, these are the, like adapters. How many adapters are there? Adapter, tube, bulkhead, tube to boss, tube to hose, tube to pipe, wellhead, all of these are there. You might not need all of them. So whatever you need, you check those ones. You can check, you can expand and check that, if you are checking it, it has got a template and you can also look at the entire template and that's the template of it. So material specification, diameter and all of that All of that is there. Okay, you are happy with it. You can say that import this. You can import that. Okay, that's the adapter. And then you say you want to import that. You can import it, transfer to SAP. The moment you click transfer to SAP, the entire classification is set up in SAP. If we do not follow this, then what should have happened? You had to go to CL02 and then C204, first create characteristics, then create class, then link it, then